Hey, thanks for joining us. This is Johnny Mac with Max Travels. We're here in LA doing a special edition of traveling video and motivational at the same time. All right, so we have a special guest today. It's Sam Hunt. Done some work in Chicago PD and Empire, right? Yeah, a few episodes there.
Yeah.
And also, more importantly, just this past weekend, we had a huge movie launch. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. So I was very lucky and fortunate to be involved in a movie called Unbroken-Path, Redemption. It was the sequel to the movie Unbroken, based on the book by Laura Hildebrand. I got to play Zamperini, which was really cool because I got to play an Olympian and World War II veteran.
Pretty cool character.
Yeah, it was wild. It was really cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good
And
time.
true story, yeah.
Yeah, and true story.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was a superhero, so
Absolutely.
it's crazy. Yeah.
So, just tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, you moved out here, what, like 13 years ago, something like that?
It was, yeah. I moved out here when I was, I was 19. I moved out and and was basically under the I had the idea, I think like most of us do at 19, I'm like, all right, I've got a goal, I'm gonna go get it, I'm gonna take the town by storm. And then I proceeded to take the scenic route. So it's like,
the longer version to taking the town by storm. Yeah,
but I got to see a lot along the way. Not that I even did it. Like I'm still. I would say that I mean, I don't even see an end to it. Oh, that's the whole point, right? Is that you think like there's a goal, but once you start going for the goal, and you might make an accomplishment here, you might set a benchmark there, then you go, wait, oh man, if this is the thing that I'm supposed to get to, then how much further is the thing that I thought I was supposed to be at in order to be something,
Like so. we were talking earlier today, you were basically just kind of saying there really shouldn't be any end to your goals, right?
No,
there should always be something else you're always striving towards to get better.
Yeah, and and it's also, it's like, but I really believe, like, I'm starting to get more comfortable with the understanding that it's, Getting better is a tricky word for me, or it's a tricky concept for me, because that implies that it naturally sets us at a bar lower than who we are.
Yeah.
So I try to reframe it for myself a little bit, like that. What makes me kind of pursuing tasks or practicing things that make me better in the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that I can live in that better try and live in that better constantly. As opposed to like, oh, I'm going to do this and then I'll be better.
Right.
Or I'm going to do this and then I'll get to that. Right? It's like those things and those little tasks or those little actions or those little, whether it's showing up every day at the gym, or it's showing up in what you eat and what you consume, or it's showing up for your friends, or it's showing up, emotionally, spiritually, physically, just in different aspects of life based on your moral code, and allowing that to continually grow and change. And doing it imperfectly, but it's like in those moments when you can show up, then you are better. And so that's the moment then you're not always chasing something.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
So it's almost like you're living in the now of already being better because of the choices you're making.
Yeah, exactly. And knowing that is a forever, that's constantly going to be like, oh cool, I'm there, up, no I'm not, up, I'm there, no, no. So we'll always be a never-ending journey, which will keep it interesting.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's also not going to be something that's out, like that you're always chasing.
Right.
Because that, I mean, as anybody knows, if any of you guys know, and as I do, and I'm, to chase and know that it's truly a never-ending battle is, it's a fool's errand. It's something that we kind of get sold on because we think, that's what like winners do, is they just fight and they fight. But the truth is that people who do that, they enjoy the process of it, and that's what being in the better is for me, at least. So. No,
that's really, really good.
Yeah.
And a lot of people watching, some of them actually might be wanting to go into the movie industry, whether it be behind the scenes or actors, but probably most of the people, maybe something else, completely, entirely. Yeah. So, like, I'm sure, like you were saying, you didn't hit the scene, hard. You didn't get that lead role on day one coming out to school here to do acting and this and that. So whether they're in the same industry or there's someone who's pursuing something completely different. I mean, it was kind of a 13-year process, or really almost a 10, 11-year process before you started getting some really good roles to move you forward. Yeah. So whether your career or someone else's career or what their dream is, how did you get through that many years of just probably a lot of no's, probably a lot of no's,
oh, dude,
a lot of auditions, and a long process, but to keep boom, boom, boom. I'm not going to stop.
Right,
like that's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's hard for. I mean, it's. I think if it's not difficult, then good on you. But you probably should see somebody about it. It's like
right.
I mean, there's like that thing of like, what's the definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And which is the irony of acting is that it is a crazy behavior, but so then you try and find the sanity in the small approaches and the small actions that you take within the overall crazy behavior.
Yeah.
But to answer your question about kind of getting through that, I mean, getting told no. I mean, look, my batting average as an actor is like not make the high school team. Right? It's bad. As is most actors.
Right.
As is most actors, and so. And I'm like a fairly like I get to work a little bit, so if you think about that and you kind of transpose that, you start to really take a step back and go, holy cow, you're nuts, man. But to get through that, I mean, there was always something, I think that's what, they talk about finding the thing that you love or like what your like passion, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of things that go into it for me. One is I always want to know more about it. That's a really important thing for me, is that I've yet to get tired of learning about acting and learning about filmmaking. And that's if just anybody is like, oh, how are you working on material, or how do you approach scene work, or how do you approach character, all of that kind of stuff, or just learning about other actors' methods and the history of acting. Like that's something that I've been passionate about since the first minute that I started studying, and that hasn't ceased to this day. So people will ask me, I've had people ask me, be like, oh, I want to be an actor, and like, what should I do? And I'll be like, well, jump into class. And they're like, yeah, no, for sure. So should I like get headshots, or like what do you think I should do? And I'll be like, yeah, you should jump into a class.
Just get started.
And they'll be like, oh, cool. Well, so I got some headshots, and like. Or I'm thinking about getting some headshots, and I really just want to like jump in. What do you think I should do? And I'll be like, cool, you should jump and do a class. Yeah. Because the thing is that if you don't want to do a class, if you don't like acting, even if it's in a class or whatever, then what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Because it's too hard. So most of the acting you're going to do in your career, if you're lucky, is auditioning.
Right.
Because there are a lot of actors who don't even get to audition. So it's really important, I think, at least for me, is that, again, that's a barometer. It's like, I like being in class. I like just working with people.
Right.
So that was a really important thing for me. So when knowing that kind of transposed internally to a thing of going, cool, well, I just know that I'm not going to stop.
Right, yeah.
Regardless of how frustrated or anxious or like how much I want to quit. And it's happened so many times. But there was this other part of me, it's kind of like the devil on the do and the don't. The other guy was just being like, yeah, but you're not going to quit. And I was just like...
So his voice was louder.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was mostly... It's like, well, on this side, I have the one bird chirping in my ear being like, oh, this sucks. What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And just like, yeah, I know, right? I know. And then this guy's just like chilling, smoking a cigar, and like getting a tan being like, yeah, but you're not going to quit.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not even worried. So I guess, all that can transpose very easily into just being stubborn. I'm just really stubborn, but I'm passionate about what I do.
Right.
So I think that kind of for me is the biggest thing. They talk about do what you love, and cliches are cliches for a reason.
Right. And so do you think it really is that simple? Because I think a lot of people, they question what they actually love.
Yeah, sure.
And like what they should be doing, at least starting out as a hobby, just getting started.
Yeah.
Doing something. So is the answer just really that simple? Like, what do you continue to teach yourself and learn about on your own time? Is that a good way to start?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, so if let's just say hypothetically that they took away TV. Like, let's say just TV didn't exist.
Okay.
Right? Because I truly think it's a drug, and like, God, I make my money off it, so I'm technically like I'm a drug dealer or something, right? And I enjoy the hell out of it, but let's just say that we took away TV and we took away kind of the things that are that take us outside of our own experience. It's like, I guess in those times I would ask, what is it that you want to do? Like, what is it in the time that you have free? Like, outside of the work and outside of your family and your kids and like your hobbies, right?
Yeah.
What are your hobbies? Because and that's, I think, an important question for anybody, an important thing that people should ask themselves and just sit down and go, cool, what is that thing? What is that itch? What is that thing I haven't tried yet? You know, what is that dream, or what is that retirement goal, or what is that, you know, what is that app that I have on my phone that's supposed to teach me how to do this thing that I've always been interested in doing, but I never actually opened the app. You know, I see it, I'm like, oh, cool, I can learn Kung Fu? Yes!
Right. Yeah.
You know, but you never actually open it. Right, exactly. Right. So whatever those things are, those are the things that I think it's really important that you go and you do everything you can, and it's an uphill battle, but you do everything you can to at least try it. Because then you can put it to rest. You know, you do it for like, let's say you do it for a year, and you're like, yeah, okay, cool. No, you know what? Then you know it's not for you, and then you can put it to bed, and you never have to think about it again. And think all that real estate, that emotional, mental real estate that you're taking up with those fantasies of like, someday I'll be a pianist, you know, or someday I'll speak 6 languages, or someday I'll be a professional, you know, football player, or whatever.
But at least trying it, you can then cross it off the
and
list.
You're like, cool. You know what? I'm good though.
Done.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember, I don't know. For me, it might be like something like. At some point in my life, I think I wanted to like do, I don't know, gymnastics or something. Yeah. You know, or actually play football is a perfect example.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I played football in high school, and I remember in my mind, and I only played for a year. Yeah. I played my freshman year of high school. Let's not be unfortunate. But it was one of those things. Right. As a kid, I always grew up, and I was like, as growing up, I played soccer my whole life, and then I got to high school, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna play football. I'm gonna play football. Yeah, football. And then I did it, and it was cool, and I really loved it. But you know, I look back now, I'm like, or like that same thing with lacrosse. Like I played lacrosse for 2 years or 3 years, and I was like, cool, great. But I know now, like. Right. I'm good. Like I don't need to live out that fantasy ever again. As every kid does and every adult does. If you've played sports, every time you pick up a basketball, you're like, I'm Jordan.
Oh yeah, of course.
Which is amazing. You know? So I don't know if that answers any of the questions, but yeah, man. I mean, I think just trying things, man. Just really, honestly, just go out, show up, think about the things that are taking up all that real estate, whatever that itch is, and just go and try it.
No, and that's really, really good. And I was just one of the things I mentioned in a video I did recently was realizing like I'm 34. I'm not 64. Yeah. And like I'm kind of doing this stuff, starting to do it on the side, and I enjoy it. Yeah. And it really is a thing that I like doing, and it may take a long time before anything may take off, but I think I'll continue doing it anyway. And like you're, you were 30, 31, 32 when you first started getting your big roles. And so I think so many people, like even teenagers now, because there's so much pressure, like you need to know what you're going to be at 18 or, you're not going to do anything with your life. And especially through my 20s, it was just increasingly every year this like, I still don't know what I want to do. I still don't know what I want to do. Right. And so here I am at 34 and like I'm finally starting to go in this direction. Like how important, maybe with just maybe a lot of other people that you've come in contact with in your life that have inspired you to like just realize like it's never too late to just go.
Yeah. No, for sure, man, for sure. I mean, acting in particular, you know, is a really great. I mean, in a lot of industries are great examples of that. And one of my favorite stories is Morgan Freeman. I think didn't get his first job as an actor until he was like 45. It's something insane. It's something absolutely insane.
Probably driving Miss Daisy or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And like John Hamm was teaching high school drama when he got the audition for Mad Men.
Oh gosh, when he got the audition for Mad Men?
Yeah, like he had auditioned for a bunch. I mean, again, like don't quote me too hard on these stories, but like for the most part, I think they're pretty. The data's pretty sound. Yeah. So he apparently was like ready. He was done. You know, and then he got the audition for Mad Men, and then you know, and even then, and even after that, like, especially in this industry, and like every industry, like the grind doesn't stop. You know, you think about it that way, you think like, oh, I'm gonna make it. Like I'll have actors that I've worked with, or like actors that I've taught, and they're like, and I was invited them to the same thing. Where you think, oh, if the role is big enough, or if I have the support that I need, the stakes are high enough, then I'm gonna make it, and then. That's when I'll blossom. right?
Yeah.
And I don't have to deal with like the side job and this thing and then like then I'll be able to focus and I'll be like, I'll be a real actor. And the truth is that if you have these things that get in the way, or like it's hard for you when the stakes are like super low, that it's only going to get more difficult. So don't shy away from the difficult parts about it. Like don't shy away from whatever the technical aspects of it or the aspects of it that are making you scared.
Right.
And as far as getting too like late, nah, man. I mean, again, outside of being a professional sports player, because even because that has a physical toll that sometimes your body just can't keep up with. But even then, like, who am I to say? The Rookie. Remember that movie, The Rookie, with Dennis Quaid? Like, that pitcher, he was like what, 38 or something when he got into the majors. Yeah. Yes. But I think the bottom line behind that is that you just never know where whatever pursuit that you go on, you never know where it's going to lead. You know, so even if you jump into, you know, let's say that you pick it up and you're like, you know, you're 40 years old and you say, you know, I always want to try acting, so I'm going to try acting. Like, you might not end up being the next, you know, you might not end up being the next Morgan Freeman.
Right. Sure.
But you could end up meeting somebody in an acting class that changes your life. You know, or that helps guide you down a path where you start a nonprofit or you start helping people and helping kids get into acting at a young age, and then that's more fulfilling for you than acting ever could be. Or you just learn how to express yourself, and then it allows you to be more present for your family and your friends, or whatever it is. But the point is that we have this habit of, you know, because we're taught so early on, like, hey, plan it out, right? Yeah. What are you going to do next? And that's going to lead, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? What's this? Yeah. And I do this all the time. So quickly you just go, okay, cool. Well, if I do that, it's going to be this, and it's probably going to be that, and then statistics say it's going to be this, and so I'm going to end up there, and I don't want to end up there, so I'm just not going to do it. Like, I'm just not going to even start.
You think yourself out of it before you even start.
Absolutely. So, like, there's this great thing that, and again, I don't know how true this is. I think I learned it on a YouTube video, but I love the idea, which is that your brain will talk you out of anything in about 5 seconds. Yeah. So, because your brain's primary function is to keep you alive, right? And so anything new is scary and potentially dangerous. So within about 5 seconds, it's a threat, and so then your brain's going to kick in and start it's literally its job is to keep you alive. That's it. That's the primary function. Right. So anything, whether it's like, oh cool, I'm going to go on a hike that I've never been on before, or I'm going to talk to that girl. Or talk to that girl at the bar, even though I've never done that before. Or I'm going to go and stand up to my boss, even though I've never been. Like, your brain will kick in after about 5 seconds. Because you remember, we all know that feeling. Like, you have that impulse. Oh, yeah. Like, I'm going to... I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, it's right there.
And then within about 5 seconds, it's up. So, like, I'm not saying that you should go and talk, you know, and chew out your boss or anything. But just keeping that in mind, that's such an interesting thing, because you start noticing, you start paying attention. It pops up all the time throughout the day. You have an impulse to do something that you know, like your heart is being like, cool, that would be, let's try that. And then in about 5 seconds, your brain kicks in and is like, oh, don't do that. Right. So if you can just leap, if you can just take at least one small action towards whatever that thing is within like the first 5 seconds.
That's good.
That'll you never know what's going to happen. Yeah. You know? And that's such a more interesting life to live than knowing what's going to happen. You know how boring life would be if you just like...
That's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh yeah, I know I'm going to fail. It's like, how many times have you been on doing something, you go, I know I'm going to fail, and then you fail, and you're like, oh, I knew it. Yep. It's like, that sucks, man. I'd rather be wrong. 90%
and we beat ourselves up for failing, which probably prolongs the process of us trying something ever new again, instead of just, well, that didn't work, let's keep it up, because eventually something will stick, right?
Yeah, I mean, and also, but the amazing thing is that I think that you realize that the things that really matter are the ones that you didn't even realize you wanted to stick.
Wow, that's good. The things
that really matter are the ones that you didn't even know you wanted to stick.
That is really good. That's something to think about for sure. And lastly, aside from the motivational side of things, this and that, my first celebrity video. Like what does it do to you? Like still like
what does it do to you? Because I don't consider myself a celebrity.
No, that's what I was wondering. Like this is a big role. This movie that's come out, and I mean literally millions and millions of people are going to see you as the Louis Zamperini, the lead role, like millions, man. So like, I guess on the celebrity question side of things, so what does it feel like to even like start merging into that celebrity status?
All right.
And then what was like the most challenging part about taking on a pretty challenging role with the kind of the content that's in this movie?
Yeah. So I mean, I guess the question of the celebrity, like stepping into a celebrity type position, I don't know, man. You know, I was fortunate enough to get like a taste of kind of being somebody in the public eye when I was working in Chicago, because Chicago loves, like, the show was shot in Chicago, and so in Chicago that community really supports those shows. And I'm from there, and so there was a sense of like I would be out and about, and, you know, people would say hello and all this stuff. So I got enough of a kind of a small taste of like, oh, this is what it's like to really be in the public eye. And it taught me a lot about both the kind of seeming pros of it, but also what real value is there. And so now coming back to, you know, like leaving the show and coming back to LA and, you know, spending time with people that I care about and people who've known me forever, and like you just. Luckily, I mean, I really do think that if I would have booked some of those parts that I got either close to booking or that I really wanted to book when I was early in my career, I'd be a mess. Like, I'd be a disaster.
Oh wow!
I made a lot of mistakes that, like, if it was in the public eye, I would not be anywhere near where I am today.
Me too.
You know, man? So I'm. I think about it in just a different way.
Yeah.
And I think about it in a different way. It doesn't really feel like something that you go like, cool, I want that. It's not something that you go, cool, this is so amazing, but it is something that you go, oh wow, this is a big thing, and like, like I gotta be gracious with it, because it'll tear you apart. You know, it's like a grizzly bear or something. You know, it's like it's a beautiful, majestic animal, and you're like, oh cool, it's cool to be around you, let me take a selfie, but at the same time, like, it can turn on you really quick. And then, man, and then what were you saying the second question?
What was...
Oh, the process of, like, the part?
Yeah, what was the most challenging part about playing such a complex role, with everything that's going on with the content? I don't want to give away too much, but it's basically after World War II, and he's starting to go through the PTSD, and starting to affect a lot of areas of his life, and so it's heavy.
Yeah, it
heavy.
Is.
So what was the most challenging part about taking on a true life character going through such a difficult time?
Probably the fact that he means so much to so many people. You know, I mean, you look at that and I'm like, you know, there's a certain weight, you know, you want to do honor to that, and so then you don't necessarily want to be, you know, it just adds a certain level of, I don't want to mess it up.
Don't want to screw it up.
Don't screw it up, man.
Yeah.
Which is, it's, right. I mean, it's good, you know, it kind of helps keep you on track, you know, so you don't go too far, you don't stray too far from the path. But then also, just from an acting perspective, you know, the part, acting is funny because it's like the vulnerability that's required to do a scene where you're suffering a PTSD flashback, and the vulnerability required to do a scene where you're, you know, charming a woman and charming the love interest into a first date. Right. You know, it's the same. And we think about them so differently because we're like, oh, but no, that must be so much more difficult. But it's really the same, because it's both can come across very hollow, or both of them can come across very authentic. Yeah. But it just takes the same amount of like, I'm going to commit to doing this thing, and I'm not going to worry about that. Right. I'm not going to. That is a fly. That fly on the wall is just gonna. It's not something that I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for this moment right now. You know. So, when you can start to like tap into that mentality, it helps so much. And, you know, and obviously then having the trusting your, you know, director and all that stuff, that they're going to use good takes. Right. Because I promise you, man, there's some bad ones. There's some bad ones. Sure. And there's some bad takes to me that's on film, like, let alone that are hopefully being burned somewhere as I speak. But
no, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, because this was all taken in one shot, and I didn't edit this at all. So
no. Dude, it's like, can we skip this out?
Awesome, man. That's really, really good stuff. Sam, I really, really appreciate just giving me the time of day. It's really, really awesome. And we got a lot out of it, I'm sure. Everyone at home did as well. So again, everyone, Unbroken-Path to Redemption, right?
That's it.
Yeah, it just came out this past weekend. Yeah. Definitely watch it, go in theaters, support that. And if you liked anything specific about anything that we talked about, comment below, like and subscribe. And we really appreciate you giving us your time today. Have a good rest of the week, and thanks again.
Yeah. Take care.
All right. Bye.